Hey, what's happening, guys? We are back on the build to Aries 10, and we've got another fighter feature here today. I'm here with my man Jeff Hobbs, and we've got John the Hammer Hampton with us today. Jeff, heavyweight, 2-1 out of Agoge combatives down there in Chattanooga, and John getting ready to take on Jonathan Coffey out of the Mushindo martial arts down there in Marietta next week. Jeff, always a pleasure to talk to the heavyweights here. We've kind of got a wide open division, so I'm excited to kind of start building some title contenders here.
Oh yeah.
Hey, it's a heavyweighter's delight too on next week, man. How many we got between MMA and Muay Thai? We got what, three,
Yeah,
four?
there's at least three, if not
Super
four.
heavyweights too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's the
Yeah.
big guys.
Big
So
boys.
yeah,
Some big boys.
It's usually a treat when you get one on the card. It's like, man, we are ready to rock and roll with the big boys.
Make
Y'all
sure
are gonna
the
be.
gate's 30 that
Yeah, I
night.
was about to say y'all are gonna be bending our damn panels, John.
yeah. So, John, my man, good to have you here on the show. First timer here. So, before we get going, I'll let you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, your background. Of course, 2-1 so far in your career as a heavyweight. Kind of tell us what got you into MMA, any kind of athletic background in your past, wrestling or something like that, and that kind of set the table here, or just what got you into the sport.
Yeah. So played sports pretty much all life, competed ever since I can remember. Not much wrestling, but all state football senior year, played a little college right after. Then I was for about 7-8 years. I'm still working out, still trying to stay in shape, but honestly, it kind of just got in this slow kind of grind of just doing the same shit over and over and over again. So I wanted to try something new. I did some jiu-jitsu at Kennesaw State where I went to school, and then really enjoyed that. And I was like, man, I want to try I want to try it. And we actually used to eat at this Mexican restaurant right across from Agoge, is right next to it. And I was like, I've seen that place before. I'm gonna go in one day on a Saturday. And the competitive atmosphere is what I liked. I was really craving for that. Being a competitive athlete most of my life. And then I signed up day one. Was just worried about jiu-jitsu, getting in better shape. I'd put on a little extra LBs. Just started a new job. So it's a good opportunity to cut some weight. And then went over and did a little Muay Thai with Larry Scott, and he taught me some good things. So I was like, whatever. And this is kind of when Agoge was still a little bit younger in the fighting game. I mean, I know we've been successful in the past, but really the big wave of fighters come in the last few years. So we had Chance Gilbreth. He had taken a fight. Logan had just come off a fight, and then Finney actually had just had his debut fight. And I was like, well, I'm training with these guys every day. It'd be kind of cool to do it. So, one thing led to another. I think I had Sterling hit up Tim. Tim matched me with Antonio, and then
Antonio Holt, that's right.
Yep. So, next thing I knew, I was walking out of the back room at the famous world's famous Cotton Eye Joe's and walking to a cage, and Antonio caught me pretty good the first little exchange there, and I was like, damn, I'm really in a fight now. This ain't sparring. So, from that, just really enjoyed it, enjoyed the group that we have. I'm fortunate to train at Agoge, so. It's just that competitive that I know it's a single man sport, but when you got a group and a team like we got, it very much feels like that team atmosphere. Especially when we're fighting in Chattanooga, we usually got quite a bit of people on the card, so just really enjoy it, man. I mean, not really sure what the future holds or has any plans, just enjoying it while I'm in it.
Well, let's talk a bit about your place at Agoge as well. You do a lot of the strength and conditioning for several of the fighters there. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so actually during COVID, when everybody was sitting on their asses at home, me and my brother were sitting around. Like I said, we'd always worked out. My brother actually has his exercise science degree from Kennesaw State, and he was doing private sector training and was the head strength conditioning coach at a 7A high school down in Atlanta. And we were just like, dude, let's do something. So we came across this online software, and we just started training people online. I mean, Gain took his knowledge, and I took my little bit of business savvy and started putting things together. Then I remember rolling with Finney for the first time, and I was like, man, like there's something different about this dude. I'm telling you, like I roll with a lot of dudes, pretty high level dudes, and I was just like, this guy's just a freak as far as explosiveness and competitive drive and stuff. And I was like, let's make him our first PKP athlete. And thank God we did, because he's really bought in, and it's helped his game out a lot. Plus, he's pretty well known. He's definitely not reached the ceiling, but he's helped get the word out. But yeah, we train, most of the fighters here now, and I think that does help us when it comes to these scraps. Most of our guys that go in the cage, I feel like, are, for the most part, physically ready to go in there. Obviously the mats and everything. So we just use our training as a complimentary. We want to, when we train these guys, it's not like, hey, we're trying to get big biceps. It's like, we're training this dude to fight. If he's got 3 5-minute rounds or 5 5-minute, 5 threes, like, we're training for that. So at that point, we actually make the schedule per person, depending. Like with Finney, like, obviously he needs to be strong. He's already powerful, but we had to make that power well conditioned. So that's kind of what we've been working with him. So I do the same. I joke with Finney, like, some of our biggest dudes are the most well in shape dudes in the gym, just because of the way we train.
Well, Jeff, I think that it goes without saying, anytime we're breaking down Agoge fights or kind of doing our previews, one of the recurring themes is, like, they're in good shape. Cardio is good. They're going to be able to go the rounds. And I would imagine, a lot of that has to do with Mr. Hampton here. What you got for John, Jeff?
Yeah, just piggybacking off that again, looking at the last Agoge fight, the Pat Crumpton Logan Neal fight. Again, those two, phenomenal shape, and there's no doubt in my mind they could have probably gone another 3 rounds.
Yeah,
at that level that they were at. So absolutely, conditioning and being able to last the full minutes of a fight has never been in question. But you talked about the team atmosphere at Agoge. And, I do know that, it's always cool when, like you said, when we're fighting in Chattanooga and the whole team's on the card, and it's great to be a part of a team. But tell me kind of, though, there is something to be said about what you've got coming up. Now, I know you got a combat jiu-jitsu guy on the card, a teammate that's going to start the show. But for all intent and purposes, you are the only Agoge guy fighting on that. So there's got to be also that feeling, though. It's great doing the team thing and like 6, 7 of us all on the card, but you are the main focus next week at Cotton Eye Joe. John Hampton is the sole Agoge MMA fighter on this card, and it's all about you. How does that feel for your first time not being a part of a group and every coach is there for you and you only? Warming you up is their sole purpose, getting you ready. How good does that feel, knowing that all the attention is on you next week?
I mean, it's good.
And don't take the attention the wrong way, like
No.
thrive on that attention, but that, for one night, it's all about you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if that's their first time streaming or watching it in person and they see a guy walk out of Agoge, like, even though it's just one fighter, I want to leave the cage and leave them, thinking like, I don't know, that much about this or about Agoge, but I just know, like, they got some dudes over there, because I want to, carry that reputation if it's just me. I mean, I enjoy that aspect of it. I mean, there can get some, I don't want to say, like having the full focus from the coaches is very helpful, because the biggest thing when I found out when fighting was making sure that schedule's on point. So just making sure everybody is in tune with kind of where we're at in the fight card, where we're on the intermissions, how far out we are. Because with PKP, we warm up our athletes like it's a full process. I mean, with Finney, it's the same thing. Like, we go through a full process. So a lot of the stuff we do is what we do when we're training or when we're getting ready, on the mats here at Agoge. But my actual first fight, I was the only fighter on there. And it was a huge card. It was during COVID. I mean, I think there was 22, 23 fights on that card. I mean,
we had to shut a couple of cards down, and then put them all on one card.
Yeah, I think that seems familiar.
It was a huge card. So I mean, the locker room in the back and the warm up area was pretty tight. So we were all sharing, like 8x8 or 8x3 mat. So I think I'll be ready. Like I said, my first fight was like that. I try to go into each fight. Obviously, what I like, though, in a way, is like, when you do have guys on the same card, especially if they're fighting before you, you do tend to kind of want to peek through the curtain or peek across the door, across the room, and try to see what's going on. Where here I can just kind of focus on like getting ready, ready. So I mean, I'm ready for it, man. I mean, there's no doubt. Like when it comes to July 8th, next Friday, like I'll be ready to go.
All right, man.
So we've got Jonathan Coffey in front of you, another 2-1 opponent. Tell us about what we can expect from this one. What is there any aspect of his game that you feel like you need to give special note to?
Yeah, I mean, I know the gym that he trains out of in Marietta, like they're very much into striking, and I noticed he had done some point karate type stuff. So I definitely strike. I mean, what I found out with heavyweights, I mean, it really doesn't matter how long you really been in the game or how long, like the first 2-3 minutes, like people heavyweights can swing. I mean, if it lands, it's gonna hurt. So you always gotta be weary of that. My last fight, actually, the one I lost, it kind of changed, a little bit, like, how I think about fighting. Still want to bang, like definitely want to go toe to toe, but just being more aware. And he's the same way. I mean, he's a big dude. He has some, pretty solid hands. I think his last fight, not his last fight, his fight over in Chattanooga, he actually split the guy open, and ended the fight that way. So I think he's got some pretty good hands. Just got to be aware. Anytime you fight somebody that's 200 plus pounds, like if they hit you, it's probably going to hurt. So just being aware, just moving, trying to be an athlete. Like I said, I played football. I played running back and linebacker. I know I fight heavyweight, but I played running back and linebacker. So I try to use that athleticism. Took a pretty big break from fighting. It's probably been almost 9 months now. Last September. Yeah. But just to work on my skill sets, But by the time I had fought my first time, I'd really only been training about 9 months, and I just kind of wanted. I'm a doer. I got to get my hands on it. Got to get a little dirty. So I was like, I'm just gonna go in there. If I lose, I'm learning something. If I win, I'm learning something. And it's been true with all 3 fights. So just trying to become a better overall fighter.
Well, the fights that you fought, on cards that I've put together have been probably the most extreme, like sling and bang kind of fights that Agoge fighters will produce. You're not the typical, Agoge. Not to say that there is a typical Agoge style, but their grappling is obviously the bread and butter there at Agoge, and you're like the one like exception to the rule because both of the fights that I've seen you in. Including that fight against Antonio Holt, your debut, and Antonio Holt's a tough motherfucker. That guy's tough. I remember like that fight went almost the entire 3 minutes, but the entire 3 minutes was like hell on wheels. It was both guys dropping each other. It was crazy. And then the next time in Chattanooga, you had a fight pretty much just like that with Keone Parks. Y'all went almost the entire first round just throwing caution to the wind. Is that something that are you looking to kind of what's the word? I'm going to say tone it down, but I guess be a little more calculated in this fight, or is that's just who John Hampton is?
I mean, there is a competitive side to me where I'm like, if this guy wants to stand toe to toe, I'm all for it. But I will say, path to victory sometimes does not always mean you got to show how many punches you can take. Right. So I want to be a little more calculated this time, set up my punches a little bit better, be moving a lot more. It is funny you say that about Agoge because we have so many guys that are, man, I'm going to stand up with them, like throw my hands and stuff. And I'm always like, man, like I'm one of the only people that actually stand up and like really just bang with each other, which I mean, a lot of our guys, it's super successful and I envy it because, you don't take a whole lot of damage when you're on the ground, most of the time. So, just being, like you said, well calculated, kind of just being a better overall fighter. If it comes to the point where it's just toe to toe and we're going at it, I like to think I will come out, with my hand raised. But I think you guys might see a different fighter come next Friday than what you have in the past. A little bit, still some excitement, but just a little bit.
Well, the heavyweight division is wide open. Still have yet to crown an Aries heavyweight champion at this point. So, this is kind of, to me, is setting up the winner, to be in that title situation up next. Is this a situation where you get in and out of here without too much damage? You'll be looking to turn things around fairly quickly again, or you just kind of playing it by ear? Or are you looking to stay busy for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I try to take each fight, focus on that fight. But I mean, if I can get in injury free, I tend to take care of myself. I always like to say, like, I'm never like out of shape. Like, even when I'm not like in fight camp, like I'm still like doing the same stuff because we do own the gym, and I got to be a good example for people that see me. If I'm slouching, like they're gonna see that and be like, oh, what the hell. But I want to take care of business next Friday, and then from that point, if there's opportunity, I'd love to add, a heavyweight belt to the mini belts we got here already. So I'd love to do my part for Agoge and my team and bring home the belt for sure.
Well, we're excited for it, John. Of course, it's all going down next Friday night. Aries 10 from the world famous Cotton Eye Joe, a venue that's been very good to John in the past. We'll see him in action against Jonathan Coffey. You can catch all the action there and get your tickets at fightertix.com. Make sure you select John from the drop-down menu so he can get credit. And then if you're not going to be able to make it live, catch the pay-per-view at combatcast.tv. John, before we let you go, I want to let you do some shout outs where they are due. Any friends, family, training partner, sponsors you want to give some love to, then I'll let you have at it.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Agoge. I mean, they've helped me in a lot of ways outside of just fighting, but obviously, Agoge. Torres Finney. I mean, everybody at this point knows Torres, but he's one of my main training partners. He's helped me come a long ways in fighting. Matt, Sterling, Larry, Mike, all those guys. My brother Gannon. He trains me. Like, it's really cool that we get to work. He actually is in my corner when I fight. So that's a really cool experience. Obviously my wife, because without her, I wouldn't be able to do all this. I got a little girl, and she kind of owns up and lets me go home and train. So very thankful for that. As far as like sponsorships and stuff like that, PKP Agoge, Anchor Barber Co. They clean me up pretty well. Like I said, I know I don't have much on top, so that I don't spend too much money for that. But they usually clean me up really well out of Chattanooga. But, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I mean, we got a solid team here. I mean, there's so many people, I'm thankful for that I'm able to do this. Didn't think I'd be able to do this, especially after taking almost a 10-year stint from doing pretty much any competing. But, yeah, let's go.
There you have it, folks. John Hampton going to be throwing down next Friday night at the Cotton Eye Joe. John, thank you so much for the time, my man. We'll see you next week.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. See you
Friday.
Friday.